Building a Dream, the story of the Holton Ritchie Building. There is a grand building standing proudly in the center of downtown Front Street, and what a story it could tell us. Let's go back to 1863 and explore a bit of the history of this historic treasure. Mr. W.E. Holton purchased a lot in downtown Belleville. He hired architect John Foran and a mason named Woodley to build a one-of-a-kind building for him. It was 4 stories tall and contained over 16,000 square feet of space. The back of the building faced the Moira River, and Mr. Holton had a 46-foot by 70-foot slate-covered stone storehouse added to the property. The George Ritchie Company. In 1900, the George Ritchie Company bought the lot next door and built another store for selling dry goods, millinery, mantles, merchant tailoring, men's fashions, and carpets. George crossed the Atlantic over 60 times on buying trips when visiting the world's biggest and best markets to furnish his store. He installed a modern hydraulic passenger elevator and a cash carrier system. Up to 90 people were employed in the busy season, and all 3 upper levels were used for merchandise display. The basement area was designed for storage. It later sold to his son Thomas, and the buildings were joined together and became 270-274 Front Street. The Canadian Department Store. The Canadian Department Store opened in 1927 at this location and closed in 1949 when the T. Eaton branch took over. It carried on the same business practices as the Ritchie Company had. The T. Eaton Company. The building was purchased in 1949 and completely renovated before the grand opening. The business model was all about providing the very best customer service in town. Eaton's had an excellent return policy, and people took advantage of it. John Talasso, the sales manager, had good stories to tell of Belleville's elite returning dresses the day after the company's Christmas party. I suspect it created juicy gossip for employees around the coffee room the following day. Televisions were a hot commodity in the 1950s, and only the wealthiest patrons could afford them. Eaton's allowed customers to take a TV home and try it out for a week. If they liked it, they paid for it or returned it to the store. This writer recalls hearing the announcement on CJBQ radio that Eaton's had been sold. So many thoughts crowded my mind regarding my favorite store. Concern for the fate of our cool elevator operator that always looked so professional in his uniform and hat. Worry over the employees losing their jobs, and fear for the demise of my beloved downtown area. The Eaton store closed in 1966 and reopened as Walker's Department Store the same year. Walker's Department Store. Walker's Department Store opened soon after the closing of Eaton's and offered a new line of clothing at the Young Man's Shop, a brand new candy department, and a budget-minded sports and lingerie department. I was a frequent visitor at the candy department, deciding between the humbugs and chocolate-coated pretzel balls for my weekly treat. Dress sizes at the time ranged from 5 to 13, and cloth coats with dyed raccoon collars were all the rage. There was a custom dressmaking millinery department on the 2nd floor, designed for upscale shoppers. They also held a famous Dollar Day shopping spree event every year. This store was a shopper's paradise with literally something for everyone. A trolley system carried the customers' money in little mini cars to the cashier's desk and returned the change. It was an updated version of the same one used by the Ritchie Company in 1900. The store closed in 1977 following news of the expansion of the Quinty Mall. Marks & Spencer. Marks & Spencer bought Walker's Department Store under St. Michael's label, where its operations were similar to Walker's. It was closed within 4 years after opening. The S&R Department Store. In the fall of 1981, S&R launched their 35,000 square foot store in Belleville with a full line of discount retail clothing, footwear, and accessories similar to their parent store in Kingston. They occupied 3 floors of space, including the basement, and a newly created footbridge entrance to Footbridge Alley. They also installed a new elevator and designed a new wider stairway to the basement level. S&R Department Store employed 40 full-time and 40 part-time staff and operated from 1981 to 1991 in downtown Belleville. This grand old building in the heart of downtown district has withstood the true testament of time by reinventing itself many times over the past 160 years. Cheers to another 160 years. 270-274 Front Street is currently home to Capers Restaurant and Maxwell Paper Company.